Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pillar to Post. This is your host, Pete Wall, and it is April 30th, 2017, and tonight was Payback. Now, before I get things going, excuse me very much, want to ask you to post in comments what your thoughts on tonight's pay-per-view was, Payback. I had a lot of varying and conflicting opinions overall. Now, I had a lot of my predictions come true in this pay-per-view. So I was in one case surprised, others I was a little bit curious as to why they would make that decision. But all in all, I don't know. This was all centered around the Bray Wyatt's House of Horrors. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, if that was a House of Horrors, I don't really know. We got maybe 10 minutes within this house that was supposed to be a House of Horrors and didn't come off that way. And it was bullshit. It was total crap. And somehow, in the end, it furthered a storyline between Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal. And yes, it needed to end with Bray Wyatt winning, and that's what happened, and that was a good thing. But Bray Wyatt should have came out of this looking stronger than ever. And in the end, it looked like he wouldn't have been able to get the job done if it not for Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers. And to me, that I just call bullshit on the whole thing. They had all this time, at least a couple of weeks, to come up with something better. And I would have rather have had them keep this on SmackDown, have Bray Wyatt come over at SmackDown's next pay-per-view, and have it finished there rather than on Monday night. At least then they would have had more time to actually build this up the right way and actually give us a House of Horrors that seemed more than tame. But I'm going to go in it step by step. I'm going to give you my review on each match, and then I'm going to break down the matches, how they came out. So, I watched the pre-show, of course, and now I predicted Enzo and Cass come out of this as the victors because, frankly, they needed that win. They need that win to catapult them up the ladder more. And if they would have suffered another loss, it would have just made them so much more irrelevant than they've become. Yeah, they're still getting huge pops when they come in, when they do their little shtick at the beginning of the match, but getting ragdolled week upon week upon week, and it just does not make them look competitive or strong in the least. But my opinions on the match. It wasn't a total bad match. It came off short. I know it was on the pre-show. I know matches on the pre-show aren't very long, but it could have done with more time. It kind of ended suddenly, and then there you go. You know, it was done. But my pick won out in the end. I didn't mind that. Now, Gallows and Anderson, unsurprisingly, dominated this match for the majority of it. It was basically them just beating down Enzo like usual. Finally, teamwork on Enzo and Cass's part prevailed in the end. With Enzo about to be hit with the Magic Killer, Cass made the save and delivered a big boot to Anderson, knocking him out of the ring. And Enzo managed to roll up Gallows for the 1, 2, 3. The right tag team won this match. It's just, it should have been done in a better way. Now, I can understand why this match was on the pre-show because, like I said, Enzo and Cass, they've been getting ragdolled like nobody's business. And it comes to a point where they got to make a decision. Are they going to just break this team up, have Cass go in a solo, just go solo for the time being, and maybe have Enzo as his mouthpiece? Because, frankly, right now, the way I look at Enzo, he'd be a better manager than he would be Cass's partner. Because Cass is basically carrying this team. Now, tonight, the win came off more of a fluke than it did an actual, big win for them. So, I can see them battling it out a little bit more with Gallows and Anderson. But they did win tonight. It was my pick for the win. It was the smart pick to make because they needed to go over tonight. They had no choice but to. Moving on. Miz TV had a special guest tonight on the kickoff show, and that was Finn Balor. Basically, my thoughts on Miz TV, on the highlight reel, and on the Ambrose Asylum. I think they're bullshit. I don't think they're needed. This is just more filler where another match could have taken place or could have extended the tag team match on the pre-show instead of having to have this crap. Now, Finn Balor did make it good in the end. He ended up telling Miz that every episode of Miz TV ends the same way. And that's with The Miz getting his ass kicked. Now, of course, The Miz went and dragged his wife in front of him, Maurice, and basically had her as a bodyguard. No one's going to go strike a woman. And basically, Finn Balor said, you know what? I'm not going to hurt you tonight. You're not worth it. And he's about to leave the ring. Miz makes the mistake and calls him back. And he delivers a sling blade and a missile drop kick into the turnbuckles. And there you have it. Finn Balor and Miz will be feuding from here on out. That is my guess. I wouldn't see any other point of doing this segment unless it was for that reason alone. Now, Finn Balor did say that his next goal is to reacquire his Universal title, but I just don't see it in the foreseeable future because Brock Lesnar is supposed to be defending the Universal title at the next WrestleMania. So, not really sure about that. Up next was the United States Championship match, and it was Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens. Now, my pick was Kevin Owens because the rumors were that Chris Jericho was leaving this coming Monday. He was leaving to do his tour with Fozzy, do his recordings and such. Now he's going, however, to SmackDown. Will he be on Raw tomorrow night to say his farewell? Probably. But there's always these conflicting rumors in the wrestling universe where, especially with Jericho right now, he was supposed to have left right after WrestleMania to go on hiatus to tour with Fozzy and do more recordings. That never happened. Then the rumors were saying that he wasn't going to do house shows, but he was going to do live television. And then the rumor came out, well, this Monday was his last Monday before touring with Fozzy. So I don't know what the hell's going on with his whole time here in WWE. But I guess for the time being, we're going to continue to see Jericho on SmackDown. Yes, Jericho did win the match tonight. He won via submission. My prediction was wrong. I would have had Kevin Owens go over. I truly would, because this whole thing with him being the new face of America just didn't make much sense. unless he had the United States Championship title. But, you know, so I was a little bit surprised. Now, Jericho regained the U.S. title and officially moved over to SmackDown Live. For as much as the continuation of this rivalry felt gratuitous, this was a strong match that got better with each minute, and it did. It got better as it went along. Owens reused their great spot from WrestleMania when he extended the tip of his finger and touched the rope to break the walls of Jericho. After that, Jericho just went apeshit all over that hand, attacked it over and over again, and let's see. I'm a little bit lost in my notes right here. It played a big part in the finish as Owens was unable to complete the pop-up powerbomb due to the pain in his hand. Jericho applied the walls of Jericho once again, and Owens came up short attempting to reach the ropes with his injured hand. It was all bent up, you know, he's playing it out. Couldn't reach the ropes. He finally taps, and Jericho is your new United States Champion and new member on SmackDown Live. All in all, it wasn't a bad match. It wasn't. I'm not going to shit all over it. I just don't see the reason for Jericho regaining the title. I really don't. The whole thing that they were building up with Kevin Owens being the new face of America and all this, it just didn't make sense for him to lose this so quickly. But it's WWE. They're going to do what they will. Now, I'm still unclear. Does that mean that Kevin Owens is now on Raw? That now that he lost the title. I keep on getting misinformed information on this. Now, if you know the answer, please post it in the comments below so I know for a fact what the hell is going on. I know tomorrow night I find out regardless, but I'd like to know beforehand. Now, I was told at the beginning that's how it was going to work, and then I was reading other things, and they've never clearly mentioned it on television. If Jericho won, he was moving to SmackDown, but they never stated that Kevin Owens would be staying on Raw afterwards, or if they would be both coming to SmackDown Live. So, help a confused podcaster out and post a comment below, please. Now, after the match, Kevin Owens was celebrating. I mean, not Kevin Owens. Chris Jericho was celebrating. He did go out of his way to greet a little kid and sign his list of Jericho. And he added KO on it and quickly gave his little autograph. So that was cool from Jericho's part. Now, up next was the Cruiserweight Championship match. It was Austin Aries versus Neville. Now, my prediction didn't come out exactly right. I predicted Neville would retain the title, but I also stated that he would win the title. He would retain the title by pinfall or submission. I was wrong. He did retain, which I was correct in. He continues to be the king of the cruiserweights and the cruiserweight champion. But Austin Aries did take the win via a disqualification. I'm going to tell you right now, I wasn't really into the match. I actually started falling asleep through this match. And I don't know what it was, if it was the lack of sleep that I've been going through, or if it was in the match itself. But I was fine up until this match, and I was fine after this match. It was during this match I had a hell of a time keeping my eyes open. I love both these guys, the way they work, but they don't seem to be connecting as well in the ring, and the fans are not helping with the matter. The fans were just kind of lackluster about it. They weren't really into the match themselves, so they weren't really cheering that much, and when they did, it was just short bursts. I'm not going to say it was a bad match. I'm just saying it wasn't for me. Like I said, Austin Aries defeated Neville via disqualification, but Neville did retain the title and continues to be your Cruiserweight champion. And I think it should have been that way because his reign needed to go on. And this will build up a bigger storyline between him and Austin Aries. Maybe take them into a match where they have no choice but to go balls to the wall and give us something that we know they can give. And they haven't delivered that yet. So, you know, just, it was an match for me, you know. Up next was the Raw Tag Team Championship match. And it was the Hardy Boys versus Sheamus and Cesaro. And this match, my prediction came out exactly the way this match went down. These teams worked well together in the ring. And I predicted that Hardy Boys would win, a clean win. And it would be Sheamus and Cesaro that would turn heel at the end of the match, attack the Hardy Boys, and decimate them at the end. And then maybe we'll start seeing more of the broken universe and the broken brilliance that is Matt Hardy. Do I know for a fact that's going to happen? No. But I did predict this match to a T. It was a good match between these teams. Like I said, they worked well together. They always seem to work well together. I don't know what it is about the two teams, but they click, and it is good wrestling. Now, Matt and Jeff Hardy provided nostalgic fans with a great match. You know, it was kind of a car wreck. You know, just they were all over the place. They were getting hurt. They were hurting their opponents. It looked good. Each one took some legitimate punishment for their troubles, as Jeff lost a tooth following a shin to the face from Sheamus. And Matt was given a hardway cut on his forehead during the post-match beatdown. Now, the ending of the match was strong as Sheamus slammed Matt, not knowing he had tagged in Jeff Hardy, who landed a swanton bomb on top of both of the men, earning the pinfall. Now, the two teams continued their trend in recent weeks and shook hands after the match, showing a good sportsmanship after everything went down. But Cesaro and Sheamus quickly returned to the ring and attacked the champions, throwing both against the ring post multiple times before Sheamus landed a bro kick on Matt inside the ring. Matt teased the broken character often both backstage and during the match tonight. So, like I said, I couldn't have called it any better. I couldn't have. The prediction came out just the way I said it would. Did I have inside information? No, I'm not that kind of podcaster because I'm very low on the totem pole. I just used my brains when it came to this match. I had an idea how it would work best, how it could play out the best way, and surprisingly, WWE had the same idea. So you got a good match with a great ending. You've got a new heel tag team in Cesaro and Sheamus, and maybe, just maybe, come Monday we start seeing more of Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero, because they are going to be looking for revenge against Sheamus and Cesaro. Now, after that match was the Raw Women's Championship match, and that was Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. Now, I was a little bit flummoxed. Yes, flummoxed. I'm going to use that word, flummoxed, when it came to this match. These women worked very well together. I appreciated the match they put on. It was a good, solid match. But, however, I did not see Bayley losing the title tonight. I really didn't. I thought they'd let her make the run a little bit longer and bring about the whole Bayley versus Sasha feud that's been in the talks for so long. And they always get to that point where it looks like they're going to finally going to release that storyline, and they snatch it back. So Alexa Bliss, and my prediction was they would not allow Alexa Bliss to accomplish something that Charlotte Flair had not already. and that was to become the first woman to win the SmackDown and Raw titles. And I really figured they were going to allow Charlotte to do that before Alexa Bliss. But finally, someone else gets to have the chance to break a record and set a record in WWE Women's Division other than Charlotte Flair, and that is Alexa Bliss. She does deserve it. She is a great performer. She is a great promo girl or woman. She is almost a total package when it comes to the women's division. She plays a great heel. She plays it great. Her promos are damn good most of the time. And her wrestling is getting better and better and better as the weeks go by. So she's almost at that point where she's basically Charlotte Flair's caliber, but a better speaker. I'm going to say this, and I hate saying it, Charlotte Flair is the better athlete. But her promos suck, her reactions and her facial reactions when moves are being applied to her or done to her are very off. Alexa Bliss plays all that good, just her athleticism isn't quite on par with Charlotte Flair. But not everyone is the same. She does have a totally different wrestling style than Charlotte, and that's what I like, and she does it good. These women work great together tonight. I'm not going to shit on this match. There is other things I want to shit on this pay-per-view for. Now, like I said, history was made tonight when Bliss won the women's title for Raw. Now she is a former SmackDown Live champion and a Raw champion. Even more, she continued to make a run at Charlotte Flair as the top female superstar in this company. Bliss's strong push since last summer brand extension continued in a physical match in Bayley's hometown. Now, and I assume that too, Bayley being in her hometown, that would work to her advantage. They'd really want her to continue her reign. Was not the case tonight. Now, Bliss worked Bayley over and over in that ring and antagonized her during the entire match. And it was a very savage-looking DDT that ended up capturing her the women's title on Raw, and that was a great move. Like, she worked on her head, she worked her body, she did a good thing. Bayley on her part did very well herself. I'm just not a fan of Bayley's promos, which we didn't have to hear tonight, thank God. But overall, match was a good one. The House of Horrors match. My God. Let me have a drink. Now, everyone predicted, everyone expected, everyone knew that this match was going to be complete shit. I just didn't know how full of shit it would be. They had Randy Orton dropped off in a full blown out limo, like an extended limo. It was just ridiculous. You think he would have driven into the to the house in his own car or something, but yeah, top of the line limo drops him off, and he took about 5 minutes, maybe more, just to get up to the house. And he peeks through a window, he sees Bray Wyatt. He finally goes to the door, he finally gets in the house, and there's no Bray Wyatt. He's looking around. I say 10 minutes go by before anything happens. Gets blindsided by Wyatt, gets thrown against the windows, clobbers him a little bit, and, he disappears. Randy Orton finally gets to his feet, moves into a different room, gets attacked again. And in the end, they end up in the kitchen. And Randy finally gets the upper hand and just goes ape shit. Just nuts all over Bray Wyatt, hitting him in the head with his fists. He's about to crank Bray Wyatt with a frying pan when he gets a kick to the balls, drops to the floor. Bray Wyatt finally crawls away, gets up to his feet by help of a old dusty fridge that says, that's been written in the dust, "We're here." And Bray Wyatt dumps that fridge over on top of Randy Orton. He staggers out of the house. And he's coughing and falling on the grass and can't get up. He finally gets into the limo that drives off. Now, that's part puzzles me. Okay, that's where it all ended. Okay, it's all good. It's all finished for now. And we move into the next match. Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe, which is another match I want to shit all over. And yes, the House of Horrors match is not over yet. Promise you. So, we get what was a good match. For all intents and purposes, it was a great match between Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe. The finish was complete bullshit. These guys should have both come out looking strong. And you had Samoa Joe defeated with a roll-up while he's got the coquina clutch applied. And had Seth Rollins win by a fluke, which makes him look weak. Had Samoa Joe pinned with a fluke roll-up and made him look weak. And it didn't make sense. You build both these guys up. This match, I predicted Joe wins the match via submission, but not through a tap out. I predicted Seth Rollins lets himself get choked out before tapping out. Yes, Samoa Joe wins the match, but they both come out looking tough and strong, and they still have a lot of momentum behind them. And it did not happen that way. We got to see the Falcon Arrow, a Frog Splash, and a Blockbuster Sling Blade. And Seth Rollins escaped one coquina clutch and used the second one to help with a pinfall. And your winner is Seth Rollins. But I don't understand this. I really, really don't. And it wasn't even a long enough match because they were basically sandwiching it between two clips, or a clip of what was supposed to be the House of Horrors and the finishing of that House of Horrors match. So we didn't get near of a long enough match between these two. These two could have done a lot more. They worked quick, and it was a quick match. It was a bullshit match, because now you have both men coming out looking weak. Yes, Seth Rollins gets the win, but in a fluke finish. If he wouldn't have rolled up the way he did, he wouldn't have got the win. It was a very fluky looking pinfall. And the look on Samoa Joe's face after the match just said it all. You know, just bullshit. Give me a glass of bleach, let me down it, and put me out of my fucking misery. That's basically what I said. Complete bullshit. It wasn't as bad as the House of Horrors, but it was bad. Now, we're going to continue with the House of Horrors match. Part 2. Bray Wyatt defeats Randy Orton, finally, as they make it to the ring. Now, how this went down, Bray Wyatt staggers out, or gets dropped off by the limo driver, staggers into the arena, staggers through all the corridors, until he gets up the gorilla position. He makes his entrance. He's got the lantern, which I didn't understand. They do his regular gimmick. He staggers down. He gets in the ring, poses. The lights come on, and Randy Orton is standing there behind him. So basically, they made Randy Orton into Houdini tonight. Because how the hell did he make it to the arena at the same time or before Bray Wyatt in order to have him surprise Bray Wyatt after he made his entrance? Did not make sense to me. None at all. Orton went on the attack right away. He delivers a DDT from the announce table to the floor, which looked nasty as motherfucking hell. And he throws Wyatt back in the ring finally, and he's about to hit the RKO. The Singh brothers come in, and it starts with their attack. He easily dispatches the Singh brothers. They look like elves, for fuck's sakes. Wyatt attempts his Sister Abigail, and Randy Orton reverses it. However, Jinder Mahal sneaks up from behind and clobbers Orton with his WWE title. And Wyatt takes advantage after that, hits Sister Abigail, gets the 1, 2, 3, and like I said, this just basically was another way to fuel the feud between Orton and Mahal. So now that's going to pick up on SmackDown. It's going to boil over into the next pay-per-view, which I believe is called Backlash. It just did nothing for me. This was a bullshit way to do a House of Horrors match. Just put him in a fucking steel cage or a Hell in a Cell. That would have been fucking better than what we seen tonight. It was total garbage. Garbage. Up next, Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. And yes, I did predict Braun Strowman to go over in this match. As I predicted Wyatt would go over, I just expected it to be done in a lot better fashion. Braun Strowman decimated Roman Reigns in this match. I was starting to worry at one point because Roman was pulling the whole Superman bit once again. Came back with I don't know how many Superman punches. And in the end, he ended up spearing Braun Strowman, which I figured, okay, it's done now. They're going to put Reigns over. It's, like always. Thankfully, they went through with my prediction and had Braun Strowman win in the end. And I was shocked. Roman Reigns actually sold the match. He sold it very well. And he even had fans yelling at him at the end of this match, you sold it. Or, wow, you sold it, or something like that. I can't remember the exact words, but something about you sold it. And it was true. He actually sold everything done to him tonight. It was about fucking time we started seeing this from Roman Reigns, because he doesn't sell anything from anyone. He always makes a huge comeback, and nothing has affected him in the long run. But he was decimated from the floor to the mat, to back out to the floor, to the announce table. He was ragdolled, and in the end, it was two running power slams that finished him. I should say he was picked up and, basically held up off the ground in a kind of a chokehold by Braun Strowman first. And that was switched into a running power slam. That didn't do it, so Braun Strowman hit him again. After the match, though, the action continued to follow after the pinfall. Braun Strowman is your winner, and he will be moving on to face Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire, I guess it's called. Braun Strowman was not done. He wanted to make sure Roman Reigns was completely decimated tonight. And he did that by bringing in the steel steps from outside. He threw them in the ring, set him up on end so that way they were higher up. And he picks up Roman Reigns and throws him up in the air and lets the ribs of Roman Reigns land across the steel steps. That actually bent under the weight of Roman Reigns. I was shocked. And let's see, where are we? He picked up the steps and rammed them into Reigns' ribs as well. Oh yes, when Reigns was laying on the mat after the initial drop onto the steps, Braun Strowman, god damn it, picked him up and carried him over and drove them into the ribs of Roman Reigns. And he finally said that was it, and he left the ring. Now, I'm reading this part here I wrote down, and I can't make sense of it. But, yeah, it was a well done match. It was about time to see Braun Strowman go over Roman Reigns. That is all my notes for now. Like, the fans' reaction to Roman actually selling a move was quite noticeable in the arena. There's a lot of people worried that Roman Reigns would come out over top, and I'm thankful that that didn't happen. And it wouldn't have made sense either if Roman Reigns would have gone over Strowman, because they've billed this as Braun Strowman meeting Brock Lesnar next. And how would that make sense if he lost against Roman Reigns tonight? Does not make any sense at all, and thankfully they did it right. So, all in all, like I said, was not a very good pay-per-view. For the most part, like I seen a lot of good in matches, and that's what I go by. I go by the good in the matches. The women's match had a lot of good in it. The tag team match between between the Hardy Boys and Cesaro and Sheamus had a lot of good parts in it, and it ended the way it should have. You have a lot of people that want the broken Matt Hardy bit to come out right away, and it's not going to happen. It's got to come out in a storyline in increments, and I think this is the way to do that. Now the match with the very first tag team match, the Club versus the Little Troll and Big Cass. It wasn't a total bad match. It could have done with more time. And it didn't need Enzo being ragdolled for like 90% of the match like usual. The match looked like a fluke win, and I think that's the way it was meant to be done. All in all, I'd say for a pay-per-view with no build to it, it didn't do as bad as I thought it would. But it was still pretty bad. The House of Horrors match just should have been canceled, or they should have done something else, because it was total garbage. The what was the other match I was talking about? The Kevin Owens and Jericho match. It wasn't a bad match, just the wrong ending. You got Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe, ended wrong. It should have been a longer match, and it should have ended with both men looking strong. Total garbage. Those two matches, total fucking garbage. The Miz thing on the pre-show shouldn't have been there. Yes, it had Finn Balor on it. He got some exposure, but it took time away from a match that needed it more, and that was Enzo and Cass versus the Club. Should not have been on the pre-show at all. But that is my results, review, and reactions to this Payback bullshit pay-per-view. Like I said, for a pay-per-view that had absolutely very little build to it, it wasn't a bad pay-per-view. It was complete shit, but I mean, it was bearable to watch. I only almost fell asleep once, so that is my analysis on Payback. I will see you tomorrow after Raw, if not before, who knows. And I hope you enjoyed the show. Please hit that subscribe, hit that like button, and continue to support this channel by sharing it and subscribing if you have not. Thank you very much, and you have a good night.